Hello! Are you thinking about becoming an online teacher but you're not sure if you should or not? Well, I have been an online teacher for about half a year now, and I can share with you what I found good about it and what I found bad about it, okay? Watch on to find out. And before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. I would very much appreciate your support. And now let's get started. So I have been an online teacher teaching English to children in China for 6 months now and I love it. So let me share with you what I found good about it and what I found bad about it. Of course, there's always two sides to everything, so let's go through the good first. So what's so good about teaching English online? There are actually quite a few things, but I'll just mention more of the important points that most people are interested in. The very first one I'll mention is the pay. You get paid pretty well. For example, a VIP kid, you can get paid up to $22 an hour, and that depends on how much you teach. It depends on when you're first hired, what they give you as a base rate of pay. So number one, it pays pretty well. Number two, what I think is very attractive about this job is its flexibility. So it's very flexible, and by that I mean the times that you teach, you can literally teach whenever you want. So if you're a night owl and you like to teach overnight, you like to teach from 12 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, yes, you can do that. If you have a full-time job and you can't do that, you can work early morning. You go work from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you want to work at midnight, you could. So it's very flexible. If you're not available, you just close up your time slots and you don't have to teach. So that's what I love about it, especially for people who have pretty hectic schedules or they have a lot going on in their life. They don't have to necessarily commit to fixed times every day, every week. And not change anything. You're welcome to change it anytime you want. There's no penalty. Some companies will have a penalty, but the ones that I work with don't. So that's another thing that's very attractive about working from home and teaching English online. The third thing is if you're passionate about education and teaching kids, you do actually make a difference in kids' lives, I think. They're kind of halfway around the globe. I'm in Canada, they're in China, and through the internet we're able to converse and interact, and I can teach them English and they can learn. Some people say, do they really learn anything? And I would say it really depends. In my opinion, I've seen kids who do actually learn something. You'll talk to them, and the next lesson you'll ask them about something, and they'll be like, oh, I remember that word. I remember this is a panda, or this is, a dog. So they'll remember those kinds of things. So I think it's good, and they're actually interacting with somebody in a different country, so I think that's good as well. They can get exposed to, cultural differences or language differences, and just meet someone and maybe even develop social skills, right? So I think that is pretty neat. Number 4, the job is relatively easy. So if you are a fluent English speaker, if you have not an English degree, a 4-year bachelor's degree in any field actually, then you're pretty much qualified. Some companies will require you to have a TEFL certificate. So if you can get that certificate that is teaching English as a foreign language, if you can get that one as well, you're set to go. And they provide the curriculum, so you don't need to prepare any materials on your own. And most of the time you're teaching things like big A, small a is for apple. So things like that is relatively easy. You don't need to prepare a lot for lessons. You'll need to probably just quickly do, look through it to see what you're teaching that day. But for the most part, you can just take 2 minutes to look over the slides, and you'll see, oh, today we're teaching about vehicles. Okay, this is an airplane, this is a bus, this is a car, and that's pretty much it. So it's relatively easy. So now that we've talked about the good stuff, let's talk about the downsides of teaching English online. So again, as I mentioned, there's things that are good about it, things that are bad about it. What did I find bad about it? So not necessarily bad, I would say, but as with any job, you know, there's times when you get stressed out. So if you're working long hours, then, you know, you get tired. If you have difficult students, you'll feel stressed out. So you will get students who don't cooperate, right? And here you are, you have a student in front of you and you're like, please, can you repeat after me? Just say apple and we can go on, you know, we can all go on with the lesson. And meanwhile, you're here yelling apple, you're here yelling about bananas, but they're not paying attention. And even though the class is only 25 minutes, you can sometimes get students who are really difficult. And the bad thing is you can't really do anything because, you know, you're just on the screen here and they're on the screen there. What can you do? If you can't get their attention, you can't get their attention. If they just don't want to, you know, take the lesson, then there's not much you can do, not many options. So that's one of the things that I found difficult. The other thing is that you do get tired sometimes, and physically tired, not just mentally, but you're physically tired because for some classes, for example, with PALFISH, if I'm doing trial classes, you kind of have to be a little more energetic. So sometimes, you know, you will be like dancing and stuff, and you'll be like grabbing things and showing like props, and you'll be like loud, you'll be like moving your arms around. So it can get a little physically tiring. So sometimes after the class, you're like, oh wow, glad that's over. So yeah, I've had that happen before, especially if you have, say, 5 trials in a row. Some people do 10 classes in a row. If you get 10 classes of 3-year-old kids and you're constantly yelling apple, banana, grapes, or ABC, or whatever you're teaching, then yeah, after that, you know, 3 hours or whatever, you are completely drained of energy and you kind of really need to sit down and then take a rest. Third thing, and I'm still suffering from it, you can actually get a sore throat from teaching online. So I've never encountered this before. I'm not a brick and mortar teacher. I just started teaching, you know, online about 6 months ago, and I didn't run into this problem until maybe 4 months in. Then I'm like, I'm feeling a little hoarse, you know. I don't really want to talk for the rest of the day, and I've gone for like 2 days without talking because I'm like, I can't really talk after classes because my voice is really tired and sore. And I realized that I was actually yelling during class and I didn't know. And it turns out because I have my noise cancelling headphones on, I couldn't hear how loud I was speaking. So yeah, in fact, I was yelling. So I've learned to quiet down a little bit to save my voice. Check out my video. I have a video on how to treat sore throats quickly. I've used all those tips in that video, so if you are suffering from the same thing, be sure to check it out. Yeah, so those are the few things that I found were, you know, bad about teaching online. There were a few things, I mean, there's always something good, something bad, and this was what I found was bad about it. So definitely if you're considering doing this as a side job or even as a full-time job, you know, think about it. I mean, it may not be for everybody, but I really like it. And that's, you know, I'm telling you from my experience in the past few months, what I've gone through. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe before leaving. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. And stay tuned, more videos to come. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.